Good evening, Litchfield, and welcome to the Thursday, October 5th, 2023 meeting of the Litchfield Conservation Commission. I call this meeting to order at 6:36
On the bell?
p.m. on the dot. It's going to be a rough night, folks. All right. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Ms. Plansky, please.
Mr. Lavash?
Here.
Mr. French?
Here.
Ms. Plansky's here. Chairman, are you here?
Here.
And Mr. Croto?
I'm here.
And Ms. McGibbon?
Here.
We are missing Mr. Lynch and Mr. Mazikian.
Yeah, Mr. Lynch, Mr. Menzigian, and Matt as well.
Oh, right, Matt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt Hoffman.
Sorry, Matt.
Matt told me he was traveling for work. Mr. Menzigian is teaching a fish and game hunting course, and Mr. Lynch messaged me and said that he's not feeling well. So with that, we need to appoint an alternate. Well, actually, we can appoint two alternates
Yep.
tonight. So Fred and George, you guys good to be voting
Yeah.
members, real voting members tonight?
Wow.
Okay.
Yes, I'm good with that.
Mark this down.
Very exciting.
Public input related to non-agenda items. I will open it up at 6:38 p.m. Seeing there's nobody here, I will close it at 6:38 p.m. New business. First item of business under new business is annual conservation meeting and conference. Joan.
Okay. The annual meeting of the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions is November 4th. It's a Saturday, well worth going to. It is $60 per person, but our budget will pay for it. It's $60 if you register before October 28th. If you go on nhacc.org, you can get a list of the seminars. There's 2 or 3 seminars you pick from a list of which ones interest you. And you get lunch, and it's over by, I think it was 2:30, early this year. It's up in Pembroke, New Hampshire. It's not a bad drive.
Okay.
It's worth going to. And the keynote speaker is a personal friend of mine.
If I remember correctly, last year during this conference, we actually had the Route 3A cleanup scheduled at the same time, if I'm not mistaken.
It could have been, yeah.
Yeah, so we might, if anybody's interested in going to that, I think we should maybe get 1 or 2 to go.
I probably will go because, like I said, I know that David Carroll is going to be the keynote speaker. He's a turtle specialist.
Okay.
I would
See
like
Lee
to
Awards.
go. I'm not sure what is happening in my life that day. If I can make it, I would like to go.
All right, well, let me know, because I can register you through the town and have the town credit card pay for it. If if we do this before the 28th, that would save us a little money.
Can you pay on site?
I
if-
think you can, but you have to pick what seminar you want to go to,
Gotcha.
because they fill up.
All right, if you could send an
Yeah.
email around with the link to that, or I think you
Yeah.
did already.
Yeah, I'll send it
You
again.
guys want to go?
I just have to double check. I might be able to go.
Awesome.
I'll send it out again.
Okay.
This is the first year it hasn't been Zoom since COVID, right?
I think
Last year.
so.
Yeah, last year you didn't go because it was Zoom.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay, we good on that, Joan?
Yes.
All right, headed down, we got a short agenda tonight, but we do have a couple things to talk about in non-public. Old business, invasive species presentation.
Okay, that's
Joan.
October 17th, unfortunately, the same night as a planning board meeting. So I believe Michael and I will probably be, I know Michael will be at the planning board meeting, and I should be there too. And Harry has set that up with a master gardener to come. I believe it's at the fire station
Yep.
at 6, is it 6 or 6:30? I'm not sure.
It's either 6:30 or 7 p.m., if I remember.
It
We'll
should be
nail
on the
that down.
website, right? And I would, if anybody goes, I would like them to speak to, about burning bush as well. That is nasty invasive, and you see it turns a pretty color red in the fall, but underground it makes like a web of roots. It's not good. My friend of mine put rocks on top of mine, and it's still coming up around the rocks. So burning bush, and of course, we have bittersweet, and there are several others.
Is this gonna be broadcast for people to watch?
I don't know, we asked that before. What was that?
It'll be live.
No,
No,
is the invasive
17th.
species meeting on the 17th gonna be broadcast?
Is it scheduled at the town hall or here?
Here.
It's here.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay. It's supposed to be on the schedule, so I'm assuming if it's on the schedule, it's broadcast?
Well, it depends on the presentation person too, if they are allowed to have it broadcast.
Okay. We'll talk to Harry and we'll see if there's any issues with broadcasting it. Diane, you can do a quick 1 minute on this. You know what this is about, out to the public.
About what?
The invasive species presentation.
Oh, it's for bittersweet, because we are invaded by
But the-
this invasive
but that's
species
what- but
all
there's
up
a-
and down 3A. They're gonna be talking about different ways that are organic and able to get rid of it, without using Roundup in your yard, and, we need to take care of our conservation lands with it as well. So they're gonna be doing a presentation about that invasive species, is why we did this.
But also, there's many other invasive species around town, like burning bush and garlic mustard, and many, hopefully the master gardener can speak to tomorrow, just bittersweet, although bittersweet is, I agree, is a huge
Yeah,
problem.
we did absolutely start it because of that, but yeah, there's absolutely more invasive,
So we'll
yeah.
get the word out on that. coming
October
up soon,
17th,
yep.
6:30. We also have one on 10/25 with the bear.
Yeah.
That's coming up as well.
Yep, that is true. All right, let's keep going. Supply purchases. So I took a look at the budget, and we've got a budget that is a whopping $2,800.
Right.
A big chunk of that goes to the fishing derby, and there's another chunk that goes to seminars and meetings and dues, like we have to pay, I think it's about $500 a year to New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions, thank you. And we actually, because of the generosity of some folks on this board, we actually had some of the fishing derby covered this year. And then we had some of the dues and subscriptions covered this year, so we've got a little, it looks like we're tracking to have a little bit left over for the end of the year, where we'll be able to maybe get some of the signs and things like that we need, make sure that our equipment is kept up to date, and maybe stocked up on things like line for the weed whacker and saws for the chainsaw and things like that. So I do see a few things coming up. So we've got like 1,500 left. We've got the trash can that we purchased. We've got the seminars that's coming up in November. Or excuse me, we got the seminar for the invasive species that we've got to pay for. Then we've got the annual meeting. So there's a few things that we have to pay for, but I think we might have about $500 or $600 left in there, Joan, after
Yeah.
all that's cleared out.
Yeah,
Is that what you're seeing?
could be, right. We need another handbook too for George.
Okay.
I might be able to get that on that annual meeting day.
What is the handbook? Is it,
It's a conservation handbook put out by the
State.
okay,
NHACC.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a motion like we made in January, so kind of bear with me a second.
now, did we actually buy the trash can?
Excuse me?
Did we buy the trash can?
Yes, we did. It's actually sitting in my garage. I just got it.
What's it look like?
It looks like a trash can.
Yeah, does
Yeah,
it?
it
Okay.
looks like that right there.
Is it that big?
No, it's bigger.
Okay, good.
It looks like just like the ones on 3A,
It does, but it's just
but
worthless.
No
a
rocks.
little bit lighter. It's only 20,
How much
25.
was
We
it,
just need
the
to
trash
put it
can?
heavier.
I think it was about 150.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, I think that's right.
All right, so let me go and I'm gonna just forgot to print this out ahead of time, but,
What, the budget, you want the budget?
no, I have the budget,
Oh.
it's actually the motion that I made.
Oh, okay.
Equipment purchase. Okay. Joan, what's your feeling on, I would just wanna double check my numbers, but what's your feeling on the amount that we could spend? It was 500 or 600?
Well, this is, you mean on supplies?
Yeah.
I'd go with the 500 number, and then you can always,
Yeah.
if we don't run over.
So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a motion to spend, and I'm gonna word it in a second, but I'm gonna make a motion to spend up to $500 on various different things. And then I'll say at the end of that at the discretion of the chair or the vice chair. And then that will allow either Joan or myself to purchase, and we'll all keep in touch with each other. Does that sound good, Joan?
Sounds good.
Okay. And the reason why this has to happen this way is, in previous years, we were able to spend up to a certain amount without having approval. Now we have to have board approval. So for every expenditure, we have to have board approval.
Board approval,
So
okay.
I'm trying to do a
A
blanket.
blanket board approval, I got it.
Okay. I make a motion that the Conservation Commission allows the purchase of up to $500 in equipment and supplies related to property and equipment maintenance at the discretion of the chair and the vice chair. This may include fuel, tractor supplies, peripherals, trailer supplies, signs, chains, locks, lumber, construction supplies, paint, tools, trimmers, saws, chainsaw equipment, general hardware, personal protective equipment, and office supplies.
I second that motion.
We have a motion and we have a second. Does anybody have any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call it the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, all those abstain, motion carries 6-0-0. All right, so if anybody's got any ideas or anything like that, we've got a whopping $600 that we can spend. I think we could use some signs down at Morris Falls. There's a few things that we could use.
500, did you say 500 in the motion?
Yep,
Yes.
500. Route 3, next on the agenda, Route 3A cleanup. Joan, this is usually your area of
Well, we
expertise.
need to pick a date. Calendar.
So George, this is when we walk down Route 3A from Pinecrest to Hillcrest,
Calendar. What the heck is calendar?
picking up trash
And potentially sunglasses.
and sunglasses. If anybody finds Ray-Bans on 3A, they're mine,
Yep.
and the trash picker-upper, I lost that too.
You lost that?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Somebody else grabbed that.
So,
Nothing like a trash
grabber.
picker upper.
looking at November, there's the 11th or the 18th. Usually we start in the morning. What's that dot for?
Why are we gonna go so late in the month? Just thinking of weather. Why not maybe the 4th?
Because that's
That's
the
Fourth is
the annual
the
meeting.
annual meeting.
Is the annual meeting.
Yeah, but we're usually done by 10. What time does that start?
Annual meeting starts at like 8.
Oh.
Well, I think the first session starts at 10:15 maybe,
Alright.
and then and it ends at 2:30.
Yeah, but you have the
Right.
speaker before that.
Oh, there was a speaker before
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
okay, I may have missed it.
I'm fine with the 11th.
So
I
I'd
mean,
say
we
the
can-
11th then, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, it's good to get some of the leaves off the trees
Yeah,
so you can
yeah.
kind of see what's
Right.
going on behind the bushes.
What time do you want to start?
I think we do it at 0900.
Okay.
Seems to be our time.
So to the general public out there, we're gonna be having a trash cleanup on
November 11th.
November 11th at 9 o'clock. We meet at the old fire station. We don on our protective vests, our gloves, our poison ivy proof pants, and we walk down 3A and pick up all the trash.
You said 9 AM?
9 a.m.
We
have a-
love company.
We have a meeting in between now and then, so we'll kind of remind everybody after that. All right, so that's Route 3A cleanup. We're moving right through tonight, folks.
Okay.
You know, we've been
Who's missing?
at like averaging like 2.5 hour meetings, and this one's going fast. Almost like a planning board meeting, almost. Other business,
We could probably talk about the,
property checks and property maintenance. Anybody got anything?
I got keys and I put them at the fire station for the dog, bags. I put some dog bag boxes at the fire station, and I think I left them right on the tractor. Yeah, I did.
I did see them in there.
Okay, those are the keys to the Moore's Falls,
Oh, okay, I didn't see those.
the little white envelope.
So on the little table in the fire station, which I haven't showed you yet.
The old fire station?
The old
fire
fire
station. The old
Yes.
fire- No, excuse me. The Conservation and Recreation Storage Facility on Route 3A.
We just need to clarify that
Yeah.
because I
We're
might
gonna
go.
change the sign next.
Yeah. Okay,
In there, we got a table,
all right.
bags, all kinds of supplies.
Now, is there a code to get in there?
Yes, I'll talk to John Brunel and we'll get you either a code to get in there or there's like a key fob.
Okay.
Okay, so that's good.
And those keys go to,
The doggy kiosk at the little green kiosk with the
Fill the
dog
bag.
bags
oh,
in
so
it.
that they can pull bags out?
So you can
okay.
fill up I filled it up a week ago, so it should be good for a while.
All right, cool. Anybody else, George?
So I walked Moore's Falls about a week and a half ago, and I walked Parker Park like Monday, I think, of this week. Picked up trash both days. I have to remember to bring gloves.
Anything,
Oh,
Anything
Parker's
scary?
Parker's Park, or Parker, whatever, there's some trees that need to be cut that are across the trail there. So, am I supposed to use only Conservation Commission stuff? And I
We'll
probably
take-
should do two people at a,
yeah, we'll
with
take a look at
chainsaw.
that and
Okay.
then, check it out. Like if it's really, really big, we usually might get the highway department to do it, but if not, then we can take care of it.
It's over a foot.
All right, I'll go down there with you maybe next week or so and
Okay.
check it out.
Sure.
Are you still on property?
Yes.
Okay, Griffin's School, it's not our property, obviously, but we have a tree that we planted there, and we had the Nancy Hendrick Monument. But the tree is not looking good. It had a fairly large branch on the bottom down. And when I drove by the other day, it doesn't look good. I don't know, if we take a look at it or what
Yeah,
you think.
I think we could take a look at it and then maybe contact the school board, but I think the reason why that tree is important to you is because there's like a monument underneath it?
Well, yeah, Nancy Hendrick was a founding member of the Conservation Commission and a state rep. There is a monument to her under there, and it's like, the roots of the tree have pushed it up. So it needs to, somehow or another,
We'll get the tractor, I tried to get the tractor under there,
you did try?
but the branches are too low on the tree.
What kind of tree is it?
I have to.
Maple or
No, it's
Like a
exotic?
cherry, like
cherry or something like that, yeah.
Where is it located?
crab apple.
Right in that little, between the school and the parking lots here, and right
Okay.
off the park. There's two, I think they're crimson maples there that they planted right after mine,
Shorter ones.
that
Okay.
they are getting pretty big.
Okay.
So if that tree is not healthy, I mean, I wouldn't mind it taking a hike, but we need to do something about the monument.
All right, we'll take a look at it.
We could relocate it to Morris Falls.
It's like old, it's like old trees. like-
No, the tree, yeah, the tree.
No, that's the tree, the monument.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If the tree's bad, it's going, right?
I don't know if it's not healthy or it's shedding leaves or what it's doing, but it doesn't look too good.
Okay.
Fred, anything?
No.
Diane, on the properties?
Nope.
Anybody else got anything? No? All right, Mr. Croto, nothing? I mowed the community garden last week. It looks really good in there. I also hit the muster field and I hit next to the fire station, which is, or excuse me, next to the library, just north of the
Okay.
library, which is ours. All looks good. Hit that with the tractor, and I actually bought another trash picker-upper so you can ride on the tractor, and if I ever find my Ray-Bans, I'll be able to scoop them up without getting off the tractor.
Before he drives.
Fabulous.
Yeah, so we pick up trash as we go, and it's looking pretty good. The properties are looking pretty good, so no complaints there. Next, member input. George, you have, we'll start with you.
Okay.
No?
I did get a nameplate for George. It's at the other building. So there's all set, and I think that's all I have for member input.
Mr. Croto?
So the CIP met Monday night. Just want to let the committee know that the board voted that for conservation, the priority necessary. Nothing has changed in terms of the amounts. So
Okay.
just wanted to let you know that we did vote on that.
I did watch that meeting, and there was some pretty good conversation
Yeah, there was.
going back and forth, which I think is appreciated. There was some discussion about why it hadn't been brought forth to a warrant article.
Right.
And I think the primary reason is essentially the tax cap situation that's going on, and that just always kind of got
Yeah.
tabled.
Yeah.
There also was a statement in there by a few people that, we've got, quote unquote, a lot of money in the bank, but we
Right.
really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of, the one piece of property that we've been investigating recently is worth more than everything that we have in our account. So really, there's only, even though it seems like we have a lot in there, only maybe can purchase one piece of property. So hopefully going forward, we'll be able to get that on the warrant article, and we'll see how that goes.
I have a question. If it's in a warrant article, does that count against the tax cap?
I think that's part of the problem, is
Oh, I
that
know it's
it does.
a
It does like the next year.
Oh,
It,
yeah, if it passes, yeah.
As conservation it does?
any warrant article, if that's what
It's
you're
on the town
asking,
side.
does count against the tax cap.
Okay.
Diane, anything?
Yeah, we still have the Bear book, that the library is doing a book, discussion group on in November, the week before, in conjunction with the Conservation Commission. They're doing a fish and game black bear happenings presentation. I thought they were gonna do it here. I was mistaken when I went back to him. They were gonna do it at the library. They've actually added a sign-up genie thing that they can do sign-ups, and then if it gets too big, they're gonna move it over to the church next door. Probably should have been here, would have been easier for them to do it. I was going to ask that it be done live, to be broadcast. Unfortunately, Fish and Games doesn't want to have it recorded, so,
Interesting.
yeah, we recorded it when they came here. But they don't want to have it recorded, so we can't do that. But it should be an interesting presentation. We do have had a bunch of discussion about black bears that are raiding bird feeders and stuff right now. Keep your bird feeders down, folks. This is, they're not asleep yet, and they are definitely trying to fatten up for hibernation. So there should be no bird feeders up right now. And so we definitely have black bears in the neighborhoods, and so it'd be an interesting presentation. If you can get a chance, get to the library. We're gonna be doing some more presentation on that, so that get it in your mind again, but it's happening this month on October 25th. I also attended the Economic Development Committee as the representative for the Conservation Commission. A lot of talk about getting companies in and talking about 3A. some discussions about some agricultural type businesses might be possible to add to that strip of land that would make Litchfield not lose its character, but yet still bring in some more economic companies to the town. So not bed and breakfast, farm to table, and perhaps a brewery type of thing. So lots of discussion. It's very interesting to watch. We're going to be doing some surveys around town to find out what people want and would like to see as far as businesses coming into town. But it's going to be an active board because there is a lot that we need to do, I guess. So that's it. That's what I did.
So you make a good point on the Economic Development Committee. I mean, maybe what we should do is at the next meeting, if we don't have a big agenda, is maybe talk about that internally and throw the map down on the table. And, you know, we all gotta realize that, you know, we want business to come to the community. We still wanna retain our characters. There's a lot of things that
What do
we
we
have to
want it to
balance
look like?
there.
Yep.
And then maybe we can just get all of our ideas out on the table so that when you're presenting to the Economic Development Committee, you're presenting the discussion that's had by the Conservation Commission, not just you
Sure.
as an individual.
Sure.
And, but you can provide your own comment to it, but at least you'll have
Well, I
an
have at this
understanding.
point because unless you guys watch the meetings, you're not really up to what's going on.
Gotcha.
So you kind of have to watch the meetings. I can tell you which is what I'm doing right now, talking about things that have been presented. And I've asked a lot of questions from a conservation standpoint. Why do we need to do this? What are we gonna do with the animals we displace? What are we gonna do with the land we displace? And then it kind of came down to talking about things that we could do, like agricultural, business type situations. But yeah, so I'm definitely speaking from conservation and as an individual while I'm there, but I'm there representing conservation.
If you ever
So
get a
gotta
chance,
watch it.
there's, I travel a lot for work, and I do work occasionally down in Loudoun County, Virginia, which is just west of DC, Fairfax County, and then like Loudoun County, like behind Dulles Airport, if you've ever been to DC. And Loudoun County kind of butts up against the West Virginia border where almost like a panhandle of West Virginia comes out. And they're like a historic farming county. Now they're huge. They're probably hundreds of square miles. But I was impressed by the number of breweries, wineries, farm-to-table restaurants that they have a road that's kind of the equivalent of R3A, but it stretches, it's a lot longer. And I then Googled it, and they have a whole economic development plan just around that. And
Right.
it went from having like very few of these operations years ago to now you drive down the road and you can stop at Brewery A, you can stop at Winery B, you can stop at little restaurant
Well,
C.
that's interesting, because Long Island has that, and the reason Long Island has it, all these like 40 vineyards, New York State bought the development rights off the land, so the land was cheaper for the vineyards to buy. So I wonder if that's the same situation
It-
there.
It's interesting, and so maybe we can talk about that at a future meeting, but I
Yeah, it
kinda
is
like the way
really
they set it
interesting
up.
to think of how we can keep the agriculture going in town. I mean, we have one family farm left that's active, family farm. We have Wilson's, but that's more of a corporate farm. We have one family farm left, and we want agriculture in town because it's, we have McQuestion's everywhere. When you see a field growing, you got a real good chance of that being Charlie. Have tractor will travel. We need to be thinking about what we're gonna do to keep our agricultural footprint and presence. And if we get somebody who's growing hops for a brewery, or we get somebody who's growing, and having a farm for farm to table, maybe they buy from Normanton's, maybe they, grow their own vegetables. There's a lot that we can do. It's really a very interesting way of keeping our agricultural footprint. So that's kind of where I weighed in on which I thought represented conservation, not just myself.
Okay, Cool.
So.
You have any
that's
comments,
why-
George?
I have some comments. So your typical small brewery, right? They start out small, they don't have a lot of money.
Yeah,
And you see them, they're popping up in Derry and stuff like that.
Right.
And they're in these small
Right.
industrial complexes, and they rent these, metal buildings, and they can get in there cheap, and, they don't have a kitchen because you have to have a certain license in order to do that, and that costs more, right? So a lot of them, some of them just have samples, right? You can go in and all you can do is sample it. Okay, so these people aren't making a lot
It's
of
like a
money.
nano brewery and a
Right.
mic, there's these
Right,
different.
there's different levels, so
Okay,
it's very hard to entice someone like that to come into Litchfield when we don't have those ready-made, empty, buildings already
Yeah.
there. So I just wanna temper the expectations that these small breweries that don't have money, they need a space that already exists, they can't build, right? So now, and then,
you think of what I'm thinking?
I know what
Put it
she's,
right in my house.
okay, so,
I know what she's thinking.
Stay out of Jay's house, we won't have any samples left.
I used to brew beer, so,
Yeah.
Okay.
I know how to brew beer, but, and then with the farm to table, Litchfield has a limited growing cycle, right? I mean, you can only go farm to table between June and October. So the rest of the year, it's not farm to table, you'd have to bring your stuff in from outside, so.
I've been
I
to
don't-
farm to tables in the mountains of West
No,
Virginia.
I don't wanna.
And
I
they're
don't
all
wanna-
year,
and
and
they're
they're
good.
all year, yeah.
I know, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying that.
No, they might not, they'd have to be limited in some ways by the growing season as far as agriculture
I
here.
don't wanna
Rain on my
rain on your
parade,
parade,
I
but.
won't let you, I'm bringing an umbrella.
And, I mean, so, I don't know if the traffic flow on 3A, so I see a lot of comments on what's up Litchfield that, Wilson needs to reopen, or this place needs to, and we need these things, but if we don't have the traffic flow to support a business of that size, I don't know if we can convince somebody to come in here, because, we might have 8,000 people in Litchfield, but are those 8,000 people gonna be going out to eat every night,
That's where a
Right.
marketing strategy comes in play.
we're
And
talking about
that's
that
what
too.
Loudoun County, what I feel like
Right.
Loudoun County,
So-
Virginia did,
Yeah.
is you're driving down there, there's no traffic flow at all. You're in the middle of nowhere. And it is a situation where I think you're creating a destination that people, so
Yeah.
that's really what you gotta
Yeah.
try to work on.
Well, I will say that, I was at McQuestion not too long ago, and I was talking to some of the people, as I was getting the corn, I was talking to the people who were getting the corn. There were people from Newton there, and a lot of people from Massachusetts came a long way to come up there, so they are a draw on the weekends,
Yep.
for sure.
Yep,
And so maybe if we did have another farm open again, that there'd be more people coming, but I don't know.
I know when I talked to Christy, about Wilson's closing and was it gonna mean more business for her, and she said that the thing is that the farms that we used to have, we had Redonis, we had Wilson, we had them that were all open, and there was another one as well, and, so it created more traffic. People would stop at every farm on the way
Correct.
through, cause they liked the whoopie pies at this one and the butter at this one.
And we do have a winery supposedly.
Well,
at some
hopefully we
point.
get that open, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
what it basically was, the reason that I kind of went that route from the conservation is because they're talking about adding more commercial area. I would rather see them try to come up with something that would fit in than, a Wendy's,
Yeah,
know,
no,
or,
I was just
or-
trying to,
yeah, oh, I know that there's limited.
add some detail behind, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some limits, but when you look at, trying to add businesses to that area, really, what else would you add?
What can you do? Yeah.
What can you add?
Yep.
And unfortunately, we don't, and I wouldn't be for putting in other kinds of drive-through Dunkin' Donuts or
Yeah.
things like that,
Well, we're gonna have one.
I don't think that as a conservation group would be into giving up agricultural land
Oh, definitely not.
for that, yeah. Knowing who we are and what we want. We want all conservation.
The other thing, Diane, that when I was watching those is we're not the Economic Development Committee, but one thing that as a Conservation Commission we should discuss is there's always the concept of a, quote unquote town center and the lack of a town center. And there are a couple of pieces of property and a couple of key locations that something like that could be feasible. And usually that's only feasible with like mixed use type of developments where maybe you got a combination of apartments and then you got commercial or maybe a little bit of industrial space or a little gym or something like that. But maybe at one of our next meetings, we can, I don't know, think over the next month and maybe we'll throw the map out on the table and just shoot out some ideas that you can bring to the Economic
That'd be
Development
great.
Committee.
That'd be
Sure.
great.
Um,
That'd be
Okay.
really good.
Going down the line, so Fred, you have anything?
No,
Anything, George?
So I started doing some research, so I'm now a little bit versed in, town ordinances and wetlands and setbacks and all those things, so I did some research on that. I also started looking at the milfoil. Now, Joan, you
Oh,
were,
that's what I had to talk about, milfoil, yeah.
okay, so I don't know where you are with that. If you need help, that might be something I might be interested in helping in that area.
I did talk to, the people who are trying to get a permit from the state, and it's more like 2024 now. Solitude Lake Management, who I get emails from like every day about how to take care of this, how to take care of that, they never got back to me, so I don't know what the situation is with them. They have a great marketing tool, but they don't follow up.
Maybe we can sick George on him.
Good idea.
Yeah, so I found there's a place based out of Maine that they come in and harvest with divers rather than chemicals. And is it a 12 acre or is it 8 acres?
12.
That's what I thought you said. So I don't know what the actual size limits are for their, so they actually go in, pull it out, take it, and then, you truck it away.
Right.
So rather than treating it with chemicals, that might be an option. Now,
We need to find out what the expense is on that.
right, so, I also saw that, the state of New Hampshire has grants available, but the window was September.
Well, the problem with our milfoil is it's native milfoil, and the grants don't cover native milfoil.
Oh, really? Okay, so do we have a budget for,
No, because the last time we brought this up, last year or the year before, the selectmen wanted more detail
Okay.
from, what is the continuing maintenance going to be? And recreation and.
So
Yeah,
we'll-
so-
What did we get, 5 years? Is that what the guy said who's looking for? There's been a
And
new
the-
development for new chemicals that I think has a 5-year, was it?
Some, yeah, it's 3 to 5, but there was more testing involved with that, they just told me, to the Procylacor.
so, I mean, if you'd like my help, I could
Sure,
help.
sure.
And I thought you said there was a study by UNH or something?
I'll send that to you.
Right,
So the study's on the portal, that was done, a study of Darapon was already completed.
so it is on the portal?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
on the portal. I'll send you a link to that. Joan and the Conservation Commission had that done,
Do you know there's a 2019 report, 2016, we did the chemicals, and 2019 survey of the pond. Do you have the 2019 survey?
I do.
Okay,
I
that,
And the
do.
milfoil for the most part, which is around the sides, it's not in the middle.
Okay, but, so what we need to do is get a quote or pricing in
From-
order to present it to the
diver.
town? Is that what
well,
needs to be done?
is the diver going to be cost prohibitive is the first question, and see what, as opposed to what the chemicals would be.
Yeah,
I think we were
no,
talking about
And then you still need a
5,000,
permit.
I believe.
Right, so,
still need
no,
a
I'm
permit
just
from the
wondering what
state.
the steps were, so,
Yeah,
Wasn't it
so-
$5,000, Joan?
Time out.
I don't
I think I can add a little bit of clarity to this.
okay.
Yeah.
Fresh in my memory. So for this year's budget, we put in $2,000 into this year's budget to redo the plan that we did in 2019. And if we redo that plan, someone will go in there and figure out exactly what we need to do and probably give us a quote to treat the milfoil. If you look at the 2019 plan, it provides you details on what they found in the pond, and then it provides you pricing options for what you should do to mitigate the milfoil. It sounds like you might have another option in mitigating with chemicals, and it was like $9,000 the first year,
Right.
and I think it was like 5 the second year and 5 the third
Right.
year.
Yeah, so I didn't want to step on anybody's toes,
No,
but I
you're not.
wanted
Go
to
for it.
Yeah,
I
go
wanted
for
to
it.
at least start looking at it, do you know what I mean, in the
And
background.
ask, I think they would need a permit from the state, but ask that question, I know with the chemicals you need a permit, maybe by pulling it
Oh,
out.
you mean a permit for each location?
For diving.
Right.
No, yeah,
For
permit
removal,
treatment.
for removal.
For treatment.
And,
Right.
okay,
And
treatment
for
and
removal.
removal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were testimonials from people on different lakes in New Hampshire.
Were they fake reviews?
No, they were not.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I think that the other type of chemicals that we use, I think that they gave us a price of like $5,000. I think that's what we
And
asked for
so
that.
we
That's
got a price,
different
but
one.
the company that gave us the price doesn't have a license, is
Right.
that the deal?
No, the
It's a
company that
new-
gave us the price has a license, but hasn't been returning Joan's calls.
Oh.
It's very
There's a
unresponsive.
second company that Joan was trying to get
I
on
gotcha.
board,
That's a
and they
different
don't have the
chemical though,
license.
right? It's not a different,
Okay.
different chemical?
It's a small
it's the same
pond, I think
chemical
they just
pro-
It's the same
look for the big
chemical?
fish.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
So,
That's my outlook.
But, are there issues with pulling it, does it, because I don't know if they can pull it all at once, there's several questions, we'll talk later.
Sure.
We have a woman who swims there every day and she rakes it.
And that's about the worst thing you can do, because it breaks it off and it just revegetates.
Sure.
all right, so here we go. I'll send you
Okay.
the report.
Well, I could probably find it, but you can send it to me.
Yeah,
sure.
if you could like track that down, it might be nice. We know this. We know that we met with the Recreation Commission, which manages that whole complex down there, and we're all on the same page in regards to us trying to mitigate the
Yep.
milfoil at Dare Pond and trying to make sure that it doesn't just grow into a lily pad pond. So we know that, we've got that all nailed down. We've got money going in the budget, we'll see if it ends up getting cut to do a study. But I'll give you the study, and if we could get back at some point in time, like two options. If you can track down Solitude and say, hey, you did this 2019 study for us, can you update it to today? And do we need to do anything else, and give us a price of that? And then if you track down the folks in Maine and figure out, Diane might have flown over your head, but while we were talking, that the milfoil is only like around the outskirts, so even though it's 12 acres or something
Yeah.
like that, we only really need to do the outskirts.
It's pretty
So-
dense, it's gotten denser though since the 2019.
And so it dies off, in the fall and winter, so can they only do studies in the, when it's growing? I'll research it.
Yeah. If you can come back to us with the info, that would be great. Anything else? So we got down there? Diane, you got anything?
I'm done.
I don't have anything. All right, so let's see here. Public input. We'll open it up for public input, 7:18 PM. Seeing nobody's in the audience, we will close public input, 7:18 PM. That concludes the meeting.
Wait a minute, approval of the minutes?
With the approval of the minutes.
Oh, approval of minutes, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, next is approval of minutes from our September meeting. I did have a couple of comments that I sent them to Mr. Sullivan. He just got some of the times wrong at the end. He said we adjourned at 8:15 PM, but we really adjourned at 7:15 PM. Maybe just fix that.
So, are we supposed to send him our comments, or are we supposed to report them here? So that's,
Either or, you can, if you have comments, you can state your comments here, and he'll pick them up and plug them into the minutes.
okay, or I could have emailed him, if I have them.
You can email him the comments, and then what he'll do is he'll check the tape to make sure that the comments are accurate. Right, Joan?
Yes.
Okay.
I just have two things with the minutes. Could he put alternate next to the people who are alternates, just so in 5 years we know what we're looking at? On the names, on the members' names?
Okay, so the comments were adding alternate to the folks that are alternates, and what was the second one?
I didn't have a second.
Okay. So that's an amendment. So I'll entertain a motion.
Hold on, I have one comment.
Uh-oh,
I was here for the roll call, and I wasn't listed.
okay.
Yeah, you're listed on September.
Okay?
Fred, Matt, George, Harry.
Or maybe I didn't say that I was present.
Oh, wait,
No,
and did Kevin come in late? Was
He
that-
did.
Yeah, Kevin came in very late. He came in at the end of the meeting and
So
was
maybe,
there
it might have been on the roll call, I don't know, I could have sworn that it,
Oh, on the roll call?
Yeah, on the
Oh,
roll
yeah, on the roll call, you aren't on the roll call, you're
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
I'm looking at
He
the
should
top.
be.
Mr. Sullivan, we need to add alternate to the end of the folks that are alternate, and we need to make sure that Mr. George Lavash was included on the roll call.
Okay, and
because he was here.
he does have alternate down on the roll call, he just didn't have it up on top, I didn't notice it on the bottom there. Probably should be both places.
All right, let's just check. What was the date of that meeting, just so we can make a motion?
September 7th.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the September 7th minutes of the Litchfield Conservation Commission with the stated amendments.
So moved.
I
All right,
second.
so, and, yeah, motion by Joan, seconded by Diane. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries 600.
No.
5.
501.
501.
Because
501.
I'm abstaining.
All right. I told you it was gonna be a bad night. We all rushed in here at 6:30.
Yeah.
We got work going on, there's traffic out there. Thank you. So, Mr. Sullivan, motion passes 501. All right,
Okay.
looks
And
like we're about complete here. So that concludes the business for this meeting. We do have an item in non-public. So I'm gonna entertain a motion to go into non-public per RSA 91A:3 subsection D, as in David, for consideration of the acquisition, sale, or lease of real or personal property. I entertain that motion.
I'll second it.
I'll make the motion.
Diane, motion by Diane,
No.
seconded by Mr. Croto. Ms. Plansky, roll call vote?
Ms. Lavash?
Present. Or yes.
Mr. French?
Yes.
I say yea. Mr.
Yes.
Brennan? Mr. Croto?
Yes.
Ms. McGibbon?
Yes.
We are now
600.
going into non-public. We will only come out of non-public to adjourn the meeting, so that is it for our meeting tonight. Have a good night, Litchfield.
Night, Litchfield.
Are we off the air?